Welcome to Treffos Plays 2017. On Wednesday, Dr. Humphreys asked me to say a few words. He says, if it goes well, he said, you can do it again. So I've got everything I had to say, and he still asked me to do it again today. So maybe I'll have better look today and remember what to say. Anyway, this is the first time for lots of you here at Treffos. It might be the first time you've seen your child on stage. For others, you've been here several years, 6, 7 years, and maybe even longer if you've got older children. So, it might be a bit of a nerve-wracking experience for you. Your heart might be in your mouth. Will your child remember what to do? Will they remember their lines? Those lines you've been helping them learn? So if it's a nerve-wracking time for us, imagine what it's like if you're 3 or 4 years old and the kid is 3 and 4 and they're chomping at the bit ready to come on. But when I was here at the dress rehearsal, don't worry, there was no sign of them being worried, anxious, or any of those things because they were too busy stroking each other's wings, stroking the sheep's ears, and my favourite, trying to see what was in the gold box. So they weren't worried at all, but we never know what we're going to see. What was it yesterday, Mrs. Humphreys? They wanted to know if they were brilliant.
And they were.
So all the unscripted bits, the staff don't know what's going to happen either. But what I do know you're going to see today is progress. The minute the kinders go, and Sarah's class come on with the infants, those opening lines, you'll think, gosh, what a difference a year makes, because they go from 0 to in 1 year, so incredible progress they make. They keep making progress all the way through to year 6. When they get to year 6, they're writing their own scripts, writing their own songs, amending their songs, and writing terrible, terrible jokes. There are some terrible jokes, so we do apologise for that this afternoon. But that's made up for by the brilliant singing. You know, the children, they love singing, and you will see it. They just love it. They've worked so hard. It never ceases to amaze me that they can learn all these words, and there's so many songs to learn, especially for the older ones when they're learning more for the cathedral tonight. So they do ever so well. They've all tried their best. So they're chomping at the bit, they're ready to come off, to get your oohs and your ahs ready for the kingdoms with Christmas.
Shepherds in the field, the wise men 1, 2, 3. Christmas comes for everyone, everyone and me. Christmas comes for everyone, shout, shout, across the earth. Christmas comes for everyone, God of Jesus birth. Welcome to our Christmas play. It's called Christmas Carol. 2,000 years ago, a man called Caesar was the most powerful king in the world. He ordered people to be counted. When Caesar said go, we had to go.
Morgan.
Caesar has us to count all the people, to count everybody in the land. Caesar has us to count all the people, but we don't really understand. We count everything. counting began. Some people travelled to Bethlehem to be counted, including Mary and Joseph.
Joseph.
Why do we have to go so far? We have to go to Bethlehem to be counted. When Jesus said go, we go.
Sophia.
We need to check how many people are in this and let's go. No.
Layla.
We're counting for Caesar.
How many people can you fit in?
When Mary and Joseph arrived at Bethlehem, they also went to the inn looking for rooms.
Knock, knock.
Who's that?
My name is...
My name is Joseph.
How?
How many people are in this inn?
Leo.
There's no room in the inn, but can stay in the stable. Thank you very much.
Holly. We need to go to Bethlehem. We need to go to Harvard. Oh, now we need to pay for things. Yes, follow us. Yes, follow us. Talia, we have travelled. Boys, we bring
you gifts. We bring you
Frankincense and...
Frankincense.
Olivia? No, they're fine boys like that. And Bo, what do you have to say now? Take it back. Because of the special baby, Christmas counts for everyone. Ready?
Christmas counts for everyone. Shout it out across the earth. Christmas counts for everyone. Because of Jesus' birth. Shepherds in the field, the wise men wanting free. Christmas counts for everyone, everyone and me. Christmas counts for everyone. Shout it out across the earth. Christmas counts for everyone. Because of Jesus' birth. All my friends at school and all my family. Christmas counts for everyone, everyone and me. Christmas counts for everyone. Shout out across the earth. Christmas counts for everyone because of Jesus' Christmas counts for everyone. Shout it out across the earth. Christmas counts for everyone. Because of Jesus' counts for everyone. Shout it out across the earth. Christmas counts for everyone. Because of Jesus' birth. Merry Christmas and a holy flower. You are going to have to come to the We don't like mermaids and Freaky and they're slow. We like pirates and smelly and the roof. You think they're useless fashion, but you should see the way the best of our letters through. The musical you are about to enjoy may contain splashing images.
It also contains terrible jokes and scenes of a piracy nature. We're here to tell you a tale of swashbuckling pirates and brave mermaids.
Be warned, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Mahati High School is the best pirate school on the 7 seas.
The pirates are trading, we must make the grade. We're learning our skills and the tricks of the trade. Our high traditions and weather conditions, announcing our pieces of eight over
mermaid with their long flowing hair. And they're all like this. Ew, get me, I'm a mermaid. We don't want to go to your school anyway. We feel it's silly school. Very silly pirates. Mermaids are cool. Face it, women are so much better than pirates. I'm Professor Scurvy. I teach cookery. Shipmates, the best way to eat a weevil is in a custard cream. I'm Professor Cannonball. I teach PE. Tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Scary Pants by name and Scary Pants by nature. I'm quite possibly the most gifted student pirate Maharshi High School has ever seen. I have a brave and loyal crew. Ace, star, gangrene, ouch. There's only one problem. Can you keep a secret? I'm terrified of the water. Right, let's practice walking the plank. Remember health and safety. Tuck and roll, tuck and roll. All clear, Captain Scary Pants, your fist up. Dive in, the water's fine. We've been serving all day long. Not scared, are you? Our Captain's not scared of anything. He's scared of fun, I see. He scares me. Shoo, shoo, get back to Mermaid Cave. Perhaps one of my crew should jump into the sea first. What about Gangrene, Professor? He could do it for wash. It's true. He hasn't had a bath in 3 years. 3 years, 5 days, and 42 minutes. It's brilliant. Emergency! Help, help, I'm drowning. What's wrong, Captain? Remain calm, Captain. That needs to make it away. I'm not drowning that much. What's going on?
It's Captain Scary Pants. He appears to be scared of the water.
Scared of the water? Scared of the water? Scared of the water? Oh, rub it in, why don't you? Ridiculous. Better buck up your ideas, lad, or you'll fail your R levels. What am I to do? Chin up, Captain. Everyone's scared of something. I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of spiders. I'm scared of Mrs. Humphrey. But you don't understand. I'm scared of the water because I can't swim. Can't swim? All you need to do is learn to swim. Who can help you? Mermaids are the best swimmers in the world. Mermaids? No way! Ace, you're a sensible chap. Can't you teach me how to swim? Wait a minute. Can any of you even swim? We need to find ourselves some mermaids. Come on. You a present. What is it exactly? Where did you get it? Why is it repeating what I said? Stop that at once. I command you to stop. For you. Get me something else and make it snappy. Right away, Captain, or it's online. Using the iPad. Something snappy, something stuffy. Right, with one click there, done. Mermaids are so much better than pirates. I'm Atlantis. I'm Neptuna. I'm Scampi. I'm Chips. How did you find our secret hideout, Captain Scary Pants? Speak up, pirate vermin, or you'll be sorry. Google Maps. What? Not again. Fry the head of security. You found our hideout, but you don't know everything about us. There's more to being a mermaid than flicking our hand and borrowing our nails, you know. Take me to your leader. Are you sure? Really sure? Really, really sure? Not really. Lead on. I've been expecting you. We need your help. I need to learn to swim, and I'm scared of the water. There's no shame in it, Captain. No one's going to laugh at you. Captain Scaredy Pants. You have to say mermaids are bigger than pirates out loud. Never! No can do. Not on your Nelly. Shiver me timbers, this is an outrage. Bye then. Okay, all right. Mermaids are better than pirates. We can't hear you. Mermaids are better than pirates. Now say it like you mean it. Mermaids are better than pirates. Neptune, how can we ever thank you? Golden jewels will suffice. Who needs golden jewels when you can have a lovely pouch? It's a thoroughbred, a fully housed train, and it's not annoying at all. Delivery for Captain Scare Pants. Sign here, please. Is that what I think it is? Yes, something snappy. I said place order, make it snappy, not get me something snappy. Crocodile! Save for the hills! Save yourselves! Abandoned cave, I repeat, abandoned cave. Anything I can do? Help! We'd be simply delighted to help. There's just a little something we'd like to say out loud first. Okay, pirates are better than mermaids. Come on, Croc, you're with me. Farewell, mermaids, till next time. You'll pass your R levels with flying colours.
Treffos Archaeology Centre. Archaeologists, like us, have spent years sifting through the layers of earth that have built up since the dawn of history. Their findings have helped us understand the life of early humans. As students, you follow in their footsteps. It's time to share the knowledge you have gained about prehistory on this course. So tell me, what does prehistory actually mean?
That's an easy one. It means the time before there were any written records.
So how do we know about the lifestyle of humans at this time?
Because of all the finds that have been made by the archaeologists like you, and from things that have been found on digs like flint and copper mine, flint tools, bones and fossils.
And by looking at cave paintings, they're the best examples were not in Great Britain. Worst luck.
But we do have amazing stone circles, henges, burial mounds and sites like Starcar in Yorkshire, which is a very early site.
And don't forget our own local treasures, like Clean Carried Back on our very own Anglesey. All of these discoveries have been put together over the years to build up a picture. It's a bit like a massive jigsaw puzzle.
So let's begin. Step forward, Molly. We have been discovering about the earliest using prehistory, the Stone Age.
Generations of the very earliest humans had to endure long periods of cold during the Ice Ages, as well as long periods of heat. Temperatures as hot as Africa sometimes, but somehow the human race survived and developed amazing skills.
Early humans were nomadic, moving from place to place with the seasons in their search for food. They took shelter wherever they could, in caves and simple shelters that they made. We call them hunter-gatherers.
Imagine the difference that the discovery of fire must have been to these early people.
We'll never know exactly how fire was discovered, but supposing it was something like this.
There's a spark! Where? In the dark! There! Smell the smoke in the air, see the flames of the flare. Catch a fire if you dare! Smell the smoke in the air, see the flames of the flare. There's no smoke without fire.
Take the fire!
How?
Light a branch!
Now? Feel the flame, make it stay, make the dark go away. Keep the hungry beast at bay. Feel the flame, make it stay, make the dark go away. There's no smoke without fire.
Gather round!
Where's the fire? There. Feel the flaming is chill, all the flesh from the kill. Make the readers better still. Keep away from the chill, all the flesh from the kill. There's no smoke without fire.
Make a fire!
How? With some flints. Now? Drop a spark on the floor, smell the smoke, see it soar. Hear the fire start to roar. Drop a spark on the floor, smell the smoke, see it soar. There's no smoke without fire. And we make some fire.
We think communities were formed after the people who learned to hunt in groups. So they began to work together making weapons and tools.
They first used sharpened wood for primitive weapons and shaped flints with spearheads, axes, handles and harpoons. Stone flint mines have been discovered in East Anglia.
They were brave hunters, tracking and killing dangerous animals like mammoth, deer and brown bears. They gathered nuts, fruits and roots to eat as well.
They discovered how to use animal skins and wood to build shelters and leather plant fibres to make their clothes.
They began to bury their dead instead of leaving it to rot. They erected standing stones for early religious and community ceremonies.
We don't know about their beliefs, but the sun, moon, stars and seasons seemed important to them, as were the places where their ancestors lived and died.
Imagine how important it must have been for a Stone Age boy when he became old enough to hunt. my new spear. Wow! Look, it's got a really sharp flint blade and a long shaft so I can attack from a distance.
Can I hold it?
No, you're not strong enough. It's heavy.
How far can you throw it?
Far enough to hit a mammoth.
Bet you've never been near a mammoth.
No, but I won today. I'm big enough now to join the mammoth hunters.
Wow.
marshlands and lakes, civilization began to develop.
As long as 10,000 years ago, wolves obtained the use for guarding and hunting. They were first domesticated dogs.
Farming evolved. They discovered how to grow crops and keep animals safe, just like cattle, sheep and pigs.
In 1850, the great discovery of a Stone Age settlement at Skara Bay in the Orkney Islands that gives masses of information about that.
This is how it all happened.
It was a wild, stormy night.
We all took shelter early. The wind howled and the sea was wild. We wondered if we would survive a storm.
But we did. Just about. Next morning we crept out at dawn and could hardly believe our eyes.
The wind had blown the sand dunes clean away.
And there before us lay an ancient settlement, just as the people had left it all those centuries ago.
There were beds and cupboards made from stone slabs.
There were necklaces made from teeth and even gaming dice.
There were ancient tools and shards of pottery.
And some strange carved objects that scientists said were used for religious ceremonies.
There were signs that they were farmers just like us today. They grew crops and kept sheep and cattle.
And they struggled to fight the rain and the wind, just like we did here in Queen Victoria's time.
Aye, that was a night to remember.
The settlement at Skara Bay gave us masses of information for our prehistoric jigsaw puzzle. Congratulations! You have managed to build up a picture. Now for the next period in prehistory, the Bronze Age.
archaeologists agree about the way that metals were discovered, but they all agree that it changed the life of early humans. Metals like tin, copper and gold have been found in the ground for making decorative objects, like beads and hair ornaments. But to make strong weapons, metals needed to be smelted with very high temperatures.
The easiest metal to work was copper, but when they found out how to make bronze was much stronger. To make bronze you have to melt tin and copper together, but tin and copper were not always found near each other. So how do they get the right metals?
Well, there was a lot of tin in Cornwall and a lot of copper in Wales. In fact, archaeological finds were so widespread that Bronze Age people must have been travelling and trading to get these metals.
People from mainland Europe were on the move too. They came to Britain to barter and trade. Maybe they brought things with them made of bronze. Perhaps they shared their metal making skills.
Hey, have you heard of the beaker people? They made beakers and lots of other things from bronze, so it's some of them came to Britain from Europe too. I think we're beginning to get the picture now, if only we knew for sure.
If only we could ask some Bronze Age metal workers to tell us how they made a bronze sword, for example.
We have the copper, the tin, the fire to make a sword is our desire. From metal liquid to metal sword, that will be a great reward. Fan the fire to glowing hot and melt the metal in a pot. Pour the liquid in a cask and raise until it cools our last. Then gently knock the cask away and raise the sword we made today. Make it sharp and trim and true to make a warrior out of you.
So if people are travelling across the sea from mainland Europe and communities were bartering and trading, they must have had boats by then. Yes, powered by oars. And did you know they also made wheels?
Which meant they had carts and chariots, the warriors. And they tamed horses and kept oxen and these animals so that these animals could pull the carts.
They were mobile, they were moving on.
Well, congratulations! You've managed to build up a lot of information. Now for the last of the prehistoric periods, the Iron Age.
That will be us then. Come on. Tell them what you know about the Iron Age. Well, once people knew the value of metal, they had knowledge that would change their lives completely. And then they discovered iron ore. Iron ore had been there all the time. In fact, it was much closer to surface than tin and copper.
So it was easier to come by, but stronger than bronze and easier to produce.
Exactly. The men who had the skill of forging the iron were important members of the community. Now we need to use our imagination and picture life in an Iron Age settlement.
I've got a good workshop here in the village. With my red-hot fire, I can forge metals into weapons that are sharp and strong.
He's teaching me his trade. Look at the sickle I'm making.
Life is good.
For its walls but narrow and the threat raiders are beginning to attack.
They come from all over the place, some even across the sea.
We don't feel safe anymore. We're always looking over our shoulders. At first we could do all our chores around the village and our spinning and weaving.
But now, if there's a sudden raid, we'll never know if we're well enough protected.
Hold on everyone, don't panic. We have a plan.
We are going to build a fort on that hill over there.
Then we can always keep a lookout across the land and down the river.
Have you noticed my new makeup?
Oh yes, it's fabulous, darling. Where did you get it done?
Boudica Fashion Studios.
Can you book me in?
Yes, of course. Actually, it looks quite scary to me. Boudica might have an idea there. We could use it for frightening off the Romans.
That scared me. Well, thanks a lot.
When we hear the shout that the raiders are coming, we will leave our farm to live safely inside the walls of the fort. In one instant, we'll turn from peaceful farmers into terrifying warriors.
Just you see.
We will make a plan, we will give it
Iron Age warriors who were terrifying, all painted up with blue robes and armed with strong iron weapons.
But they still must be farmers at heart. They needed to in order to survive.
So what happened next?
Life went on and they gained new skills and new knowledge all the time. Iron Age Britain seems to have been wealthy and full of natural resources which could be traded amongst communities and across the seas. And that was pretty much how life went on when we were invaded by that famous Roman general Julius Caesar in 55 BC. Rome had been casting jealous eyes over the resources of Iron Age Britain, but we'll save that for another time. Thank you for listening.
Merry Christmas, my Dolly Flower.
And welcome to the new series of Into the Great Unknown, where we famous people have been where no man has gone before. Dun 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 dun. Oh boy, have we got a show for you tonight? Tell me who's on the show, Mick. Neil. Tell me who's on the show, Mick. Armstrong too. Tell me who's on the show, Mick.
Get up, you idiot! Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few minutes we'll be meeting Neil Armstrong. Yes, Neil Armstrong, the man in 1969 who left footprints on the moon.
But before that, to get into our lunar mood, please welcome our house band for tonight, the Blue Mooners. Thank you, Blue Mooners. Now let's meet our special guests for tonight, 3 astronauts, all born in 1930, whose destiny was to fly to the moon.
Please welcome Neil Armstrong!
Buzz Aldrin!
And Michael Collins!
It's over now to our lucky interviews tonight, Q&A.
It's an honour to meet you all tonight, but before we hear your amazing story, let's roll the film How It All Began in 1930. This is our baby, Edwin Eugene Aldrin, who
named him after his daddy, haven't we, dear?
That's right, Edwin Aldrin Jr. Little did they know he would have to change his name to Buzz because his little sister couldn't say brother and kept calling him Buzzer.
I'm Colonel Collins. This is my brand new boy, Michael. He was born in Italy while I was there, serving for my country in the military service.
This is his first time on American soil. Isn't he beautiful?
Little did they know Mike would serve his country in outer space.
This is baby Neil, Neil Armstrong. Wave to the camera, Neil.
One day, little man, you could go to college if you work hard.
On one day soon, I'm going to take you to your first air show. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
His daddy's mad about aeroplanes, but I'm not sure we'll ever be able to afford flying lessons.
Little did they know. So did you have flying lessons, Neil? Well, Dad did take me to dozens of air shows almost as soon as I could walk. And I actually got my pilot's license when I was 16 before I even learned to drive a car.
What happened next?
Well, as Mum predicted in the film you just saw, I went to college and then joined the Navy and became a test pilot for the Fleet Aircraft Service. So when were you selected by NASA? In 1962. That's when I started training with these two.
We were going to be astronauts.
orbits the Earth every 27.3 days. The moon has a very low gravity compared to Earth.
This gravity helps make tides in our seas and oceans twice a day.
We see different phases of the moon as it rotates on its axis round the Earth. The moon is not a source of light, it reflects light.
This fascination led to the Great Space Race.
During the 1950s and 1960s, scientists and astronauts from the United States of America and from Russia, then called the USSR, led the way. Each country developed the technology to explore space, but we didn't share our knowledge, we were locals.
Who would be the first to get there?
The space race has begun!
Which brings us neatly into a regular quiz shot.
This week, our contestants will answer questions about the Great Space Race. Let's meet our two teams.
My team's Team Cosmo, the Russian cosmonaut. My team's Team Astro, the American astronaut. Two teams will start the race over on the launch pad. We will be over here on the moon.
Each great dance will bring that team one step closer to the moon.
Who will get there first?
Quizmaster, are you ready to ask the questions?
I'm ready. Question 1. Who launched the first satellite called Sputnik? Russia. Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 2. What was the name of the dog that went into space in Sputnik 2? Lucas. Incorrect.
Laika.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 3. Who was the first man in space? Yuri Gagarin. Correct.
Astronauts, take one step towards the moon.
Question 4. Which US president promised that there would be an American moon landing before 1970?
John F. Kennedy.
Correct.
Astronaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 5. Who is Valentina Tereshkova?
First women in space.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 6. What was the name of the US robot spaceship sent to the moon in 1966?
Surveyor 1.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 7. Apollo 10 was sent by the USA to find a suitable landing site on the Sea of what?
Serenity.
Incorrect.
Tranquility.
Correct.
Astronaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 8. The final question is worth 2 steps, so now it's anybody's race. Apollo 11 landed safely on the moon. What was the date?
20th July 1969.
Correct.
Astronauts, come and land on the moon. Team Astro from the USA won the race to the moon, just as it did in 1969. Hooray!
Let's go back to that day in July to the Kennedy Space Center. Roll the film.
Talk us through what's happening here, guys.
Neil Armstrong, commander of Apollo 11 mission, and his fellow crew members are strapped in command module Columbia at the head of Saturn V.
Below them, the lunar landing module Eagle is in place. Saturn's great engines are primed, ready for takeoff. The countdown begins.
20th July 1969, Command Module Columbia was orbiting the moon. All the astronauts each had a job to do.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin crawled into their positions in Eagle. Michael Collins remained to pilot Columbia. Michael Collins, tell us what you remember about that moment.
I was the command module pilot. My job was to stay in Columbia while the other two took off in Eagle, the lunar module. There I was, on my own, orbiting the moon and hoping they will be able to get back to me.
What about you, Buzz?
I was the lunar module pilot in charge of the automatic controls of Eagle. Neil was behind me. Suddenly all of the automatic controls started to go wild. Warning lights flashed and alarms were going off. We were heading for the white landing area, the Sea of Tranquility. But it didn't look like a good spot to land on after all. It was rough and rocky.
Tell us what you did about it, Neil.
Well, as mission commander, I made the decision that we couldn't land there, so I shut down the automatic controls and flew Eagle myself, looking for safer ground. I chose my spot and we landed. Then I looked at the fuel gauge. There was only 30 seconds of fuel left. Wow, that was close. Then I called Mission Control in Houston to say the Eagle has landed. That must have been good to hear.
It was. We held our breath so long we blew. Then everyone went mad with excitement. What happened next, Buzz?
Neil was to do the first moonwalk. If it went okay, I was to follow him.
How did you feel when you opened that door, Neil?
Unbelievable. I opened the door and looked around. Everything was still and grey and quiet. I stepped out into the unknown and there was hardly any gravity.
And?
I said to the world, that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind.
One step on the moon was a giant leap for mankind. One step on the moon, and what did the astronauts find? They found rocks and craters and moon dust, but they didn't find a sign of life. They didn't get to meet the man on the moon. They didn't even meet his wife. They left their footprints behind the moon with the flag of the USA. And everyone heard the wonderful news. The Eagles landed today. The Eagles landed today. They stuck their flag in the moon dust with a message for all to see. The men from planet Earth been there in July 6980. They both had fun as they bounced around with the strange lunar gravity. And everyone saw the man in the moon as proud as can be. As proud as can be.
I was so relieved when Neil and Buzz were back with me on Columbia and we were successfully heading back into Earth's orbit.
We splashed down the Pacific Ocean 24 kilometers away from the recovery ship.
Our mission had just taken 8 days, 3 hours, 18 minutes and 18 seconds. Such a short time for such a long journey.
Well, that's all we've got time for.
Let's hear it for our space heroes, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins.
Around 500 years before Armstrong made his voyage into unexplored space, Christopher Columbus made a similar voyage into the unexplored ocean.
Armstrong walked on the moon and Columbus walked on the new continent.
Who's the greatest? Armstrong! Who's the greatest? Columbus! Neil Armstrong shot to space. Columbus sailed the ocean.
of people who have gone where no man has gone before.
Dun 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 dun.
It wasn't funny when you hit it the first time.
I thought it was. Good night.
Merry Christmas! Now calling flowers!
Well done. That was another brilliant performance. They're really seasoned performers now. This is their fourth, so equity cards for quite a few of them, I think. In the words of Teddy, the kindergarten one, they were all brilliant. I don't like you. I feel quite privileged. It's been a magical, magical afternoon. In the holidays you might be heading to the West End, but I don't think you'll see anything to quite match what you'll see this afternoon. They are brimming with talent and enthusiasm. Who knows, in the future, might be the next Benedict Cumberbatch. But they were all superb. But just before you go, I think we need one more round of applause, and that is for their teachers who inspire these performances from the children. So. Well-deserved refreshments and a little breather before you're on again in a different setting. They're equally reluctant to leave the stage. This shows the importance of music, dance and drama. It's a vital part of education. Offers and juniors, these are all extensions of the topics what they study in class. You can expect to learn so much.
I want mince pie. Get Dylan over. Dylan, mince pie.
Very good. Need more coffee. Michelle. Coffee's just coming in. Coffee's here.
I didn't recognize
The extra bit of space steps.
There's a thing we're going to need to shuffle back a little bit. So Minnie G, shuffle back. Max, Alia, shuffle back a little bit. No, but didn't say your name. Minnie E, shuffle back a little bit. And Matilda. Matilda is Lily. And then you shuffle it. Charlotte and Kiara. Shuffle back a little bit.
Use that as steps if you're dancing again. Thank you.
Do you get friends seats?
Thank you.
Just down to you line as well.
Yeah, it might not come back on.
We'll just let the kindergarten get ready, because for them it's very new, very exciting. It's quite a big deal to be on this stage with this sea of faces before them. So, we're going to have to be a super special audience. And remember, it is a bit special today because it's the only time you see each other's plays, isn't it? You're right, Julie. Do you need a space in the middle? Harrison.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to block someone's view behind.
Anna, there's a big space here next to Gracie May.
They don't want to see you.
Go next to Gracie May.
Get it too close.
Yeah.
Can sit here, not by the door.
So you might remember how we
Our Christmas play is called Christmas Carol. For everyone. 2,000 years ago, a man called Sirius, the most powerful person in the world.
One day he wanted to know how many people lived in his empire.
He ordered people to be counted.
When Caesar said go, you have to go!
Nice round voices.
And so the counting began. Some people travelled to Bethlehem to be counted, including Mary and Joseph. Why do we have to go so far? You have to go to Bethlehem to be counted. When Jesus said go, we go. We need to check how many people are innocent. Let's go. Knock, knock. Who's that? We're counting for Caesar. How many people can you fit in?
There are no more remain Indians, sorry.
Archie, stop playing with your costumes. You're down now. When Mary.
When Mother and Joseph arrived at Bethlehem, they also went to the inn looking for room.
Who's that?
My name is.
My name's Jason. How many people in this thing? Thank you very much. When Mother and Joe were in the hills above Bethlehem, shepherds were looking after their sheep.
And Lucas would say, we must count the sheep and then it's time for bed. 1, 2, 3. Holly, 1.
Wait. Don't be sleepy, shepherds. We have a long journey ahead. A special baby has been born.
Remember, stay in your lines now. You stay at the back, but don't push him. Archie, on their way.
On their way, they met 3 wise men. Are you going to see this special baby? Yes, follow us.
Charlie, stay at the back, remember?
We bring you
This is interesting. I think
Right,
if
do you know
all
what? My
come this
task,
way.
hop on the stage, as they hop off. You can get up
Wait
straight
until
round
our-
that way.
No, go round that
Go
way.
this way. And you hop on that side.
Yeah, just let me do this.
Don't stand on this actually in school, almost before his mother's even left the door. Right.
So, I'll do it again.
What, babe? Oh, if you could, that'd be great, yeah. Oh, can you pass me that green cup of water? No, it's all right,
You say when you're...
actually in school, almost before his mother's even left the door. Right.
So, I'll do it again.
What, babe? Oh, if you could, that'd be great, yeah. Oh, can you pass me that green cup of water? No, it's all right,
You say when you're ready, so
ready, you are. That's
The musical you are about to enjoy may contain splashing images. It also contains terrible jokes and scenes of a piratey nature. We're here to tell you a tale of swashbuckling pirates and brave mermaids. Be warned, it's not for the faint-hearted. Mahati High School is the best pirate school on the seven seas.
Pirates are trading, we must make the grade. We're learning our skills and the tricks of the trade. Like high-patch positions, and weather conditions, and counting our pieces of it. Oh, there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to do. The more we pass the piracy, the more to this than we see. And we're learning fast and party hard. Discovering prevention and seizing the test. The not-breaking lessons, the gold treasure chest. There's brewing and swimming and climbing the rigging. We must pass them all for success. Oh, there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to do. The more we pass the piracy, the more to this when we start. We're learning fast and party hard. We're learning fast and party hard. Mermaids, bleh! Pirates are better than mermaids. With their long flowing hair and their swishy fishy tails. And they're all like this. Ew, get me, I'm a mermaid. Face it, mermaids are so much better than pirates. We don't want to go to your school anyways. It's really silly school. A very silly pirate. Mermaids are cool. Face it, mermaids are so much better than pirates.
gold coins. I'm Professor Scurvy. I teach cookery. Shipmates, the best way to eat a weevil is in a custard cream. I'm Professor Cannonball. I teach PE. Chuck and roll, chuck and roll. Scary Pants by name and Scary Pants by nature. I'm possibly the most gifted student the Hardy High School has ever seen. I have a brave and loyal crew. Ace!
Stop.
Gangrene! Ouch! There's only one problem. Can you keep a secret? I'm terrified of the water. Right, let's practice walking the plank. Remember health and safety. Chuck and roll, chuck and roll. Old Quick, Captain Scary Pants, you're first up. Dive in the water spy. We've been swimming all day long. You're not scared, are you? Oh, Captain's not scared of anything. He's the scariest part of the high seas. He scares me. Me too. Shoo shoo, get back to your mermaid caves. Perhaps one of my crew should jump into the sea first. What about Gangrene, Professor? He could do it for wash.
It's true, he hasn't had a bath for 3 years.
3 years, 5 days and 42 minutes. It's brilliant. Emergency! Help, help, I'm drowning. What's wrong, Captain? Help, help, I'm drowning.
Remain calm, Captain. I will now administer the kiss of life.
I'm not drowning that much. What's going on? It's Captain Scary Pants. He appears to be scared of the water.
Scared of the water?
Scared of the water? Scared of the water? I rub it in, why don't you? Ridiculous! You better back up your ideas, lad, or you'll fail your R levels. What am I to do? Cheer up, Captain. Everyone's scared of something. I'm scared of the dark.
I'm scared of spiders.
I'm scared of Mrs. Humphreys. But you don't understand. I'm scared of the water because I can't swim. Can't swim? Yes, all right. All you need to do is learn to swim. Who can help you? Mermaids. They're the best swimmers in the world. Mermaids? No way. Ace, you're a sensible chap. Can't you teach me how to swim? Wait a minute, can any of you swim? No. We need to find ourselves some mermaids. Come on. No. Swap the left, bring the last, goes the down, clean the grass, your leader. Are you sure? Really sure? Really sure? Not really. Lead on. I've been expecting you. We need your help. I need your help. And I'm scared of the water.
No, I need to learn.
And I need to learn to swim, and I'm scared of the water. Can I help? There's no shame in Captain. No one's going to laugh at you. Captain Scary Pants. More like Captain Scaredy Pants. You have to say mermaids are better than pirates. Out loud. Never.
No can do.
Not on your Nelly. Shiver me timbers. This is an outrage. Bye then. Okay, all right. Mermaids are better than pirates. We can't hear you. Mermaids are better than pirates. Now say it like you mean it. Mermaids are better than pirates. Yay! Neptune, how can we ever thank you? Golden jewels will suffice. Who needs golden jewels when you can have a lovely palace? It's a thoroughbred.
Fully house trained.
And it's not annoying at all. Delivery for Captain Scarepants. Down here, please. Is that what I think it is? Yes, something snappy. I said place order, make it snappy, not get me something snappy. Crocodile! Swim for the hills. Save yourself. Abandoned cave, I repeat, abandoned cave. Anything I can do? Help! We'd be simply delighted to help. There's just a little something we'd like to say out loud first. Okay, pirates are better than mermaids. Come on, Brock, you're with me. Farewell, mermaids, until next time. You'll pass your R levels with flying colours.
way, Sarah. And then juniors go up that way. But not yet. We're staying in here. Alright, Matthew, go until you find a space. Well done. Right, Tracy, then you're the last one. You go in that space there. Just creep your way through. Yeah, it's fine.
everyone, and welcome to Treffos Archaeology Centre. Archaeologists, like us, have spent years sifting through the layers of earth that have built up since the dawn of history. Their findings have helped us understand the life of early humans. As students, you follow in their footsteps. So tell me, what does prehistory actually mean?
That's an easy one. It means a time before there were any written records.
So how do we know about the lifestyle of humans at this time?
Because of all the finds that have been made by the archaeologists, like you, and from things that have been found on digs, like flint and copper mine, flint tools, fossils, and bones.
And by looking at cave paintings, they're the best examples were not in Great Britain. Worst luck.
But we do have amazing stone circles, henges, burial mounds and sites like Starcar in Yorkshire, which is a very early site.
And don't forget our own local treasures like King Gerard Bach here on our very own Anglesey. All of these discoveries have been put together over the years to build up a picture. It's a bit like a massive jigsaw puzzle.
So let's begin. Step forwards, Mary. We have been discussing about the early season prehistory, the Stone Age.
Generations of the very earliest humans had to endure long periods of cold during the ice ages, as well as long periods of heat. Temperatures was sometimes, but somehow the human race survived and developed amazing skills. Early humans were nomadic, moving from place to place with the seasons in their search for food. They took shelter wherever they could, in caves and simple shelters that they made. We call them hunter-gatherers. Imagine the difference that the discovery of fire must have made to these early people.
We'll never know exactly how fire was discovered, but supposing it was something like this.
shaped slings, the spearheads, axes, hammers and harpoons. Stone Age fruit mines have been discovered in East Anglia. They were brave hunters, tracking and killing dangerous animals like mammoths, deer and brown bears. They gathered nuts, fruit and roots to eat as well. They discovered how to use animal skins and wood to build shelters and leather and plant fibres to make their clothes. They began to bury their dead instead of leaving it to rot. They erected standing stones for early religious and community ceremonies. We don't know about their beliefs, but the sun, moon, stars and seasons seem to have been important to them, as were the places where their ancestors lived and died. Imagine how important it must have been to Stone Age boy when he became old enough to hunt.
This is my new spear.
Wow!
Look, it's got a really sharp flint blade and a long shaft so I can attack from a distance.
Can I hold it?
Look, you're not strong enough. It's heavy.
How far can you throw it?
Enough to hit a mammoth.
Bet you've never been near a mammoth.
No, but I wanted a. I'm big enough now to join the mammoth hunters.
Wow!
civilization began to develop. As long as 10,000 years ago, hills were tamed and used for guarding and hunting. They were the first domesticated dogs.
Farming evolved. They discovered how to grow crops and keep animals safe, just like cattle, sheep and pigs.
In 1850, the great discovery of a Stone Age settlement at Scarborough in the Orkneys, they gave some masses of information about that.
This is how it all happened.
It all started on a stormy night.
We all took shelter early. The wind howled and the sea was wild. We wondered if we would survive the storm. But we did. Just about. Next morning we crept out of dawn and could hardly believe our eyes.
The wind had blown the sand dunes clean away.
And there before us lay an ancient settlement, just as people left it all those centuries ago. There were beds and cupboards made from stone slabs. There were necklaces made from teeth. There were even gaming dice.
There were ancient tools and shards of pottery.
And some strange carved objects that scientists ever used for religious ceremonies. There were signs that they were farmers just like us today. They grew crops and kept sheep and cattle. And they struggled to survive the rain and the wind, just like we did here in Queen Victoria's time.
Aye, that was a night to remember.
The settlement at Skara Brae gave us masses of information for our prehistoric jigsaw puzzle. This all leads us nicely into the next of the prehistoric periods, the Bronze Age.
My students have been finding out about discovering metal, which brought Britain into the Bronze Age. Come on everyone, share your knowledge.
Well, I found out that not all archaeologists agree about the way that metal was discovered, but they all agree that it changed the life of early humans. Metals like tin, copper and gold have been found in the ground for making decorative objects like beads and helmets. But to make strong weapons, metals needed to be smelted with very high temperatures.
The easiest metal to work was copper, but when they found out how to make bronze, it was much stronger. To make bronze, you have to melt tin and copper together, but tin and copper are not always found near each other. So how do they get the right metals? Well, there was a lot of tin in Cornwall and a lot of copper in Wales. In fact, archaeological finds were so widespread that Bronze Age people must have been travelling and trading to get these metals.
People from mainland Europe were on the move too. They came to Britain to barter and trade. Maybe they brought things made of bronze with them. Perhaps they shared the metal making skills.
Hey, have you heard of the beaker people? They made beakers and lots of other things from bronze. And there were signs that some of them came to Britain from Europe too. I think we're beginning to get the picture now. If only we knew for sure. If only we knew. If only we could ask some Bronze Age metalworkers to tell us how they made a bronze sword for example. We have the copper that's in the fire. To make a sword is our desire. From red hot liquid to metal sword, that will be a great reward. Find the fire to glowing hot and melt the metal in the pot. Pour the liquid in a cast and wait until it cools at last. Then gently knock the cast away and raise the sword we made today. Make it sharp and trim and true to make a warrior out of you.
So as people were travelling across the sea and from mainland Europe to communities were bartering and trading, they must have had boats by then. Yes, powered by oars, and did you know they also made wheels?
Which meant they had carts and even chariots for the warriors. And they tamed horses and kept oxen so these animals could pull the carts. They were mobile, they were moving on.
Well done. You have managed to build up a lot of information. Now for the last of the prehistoric periods, the Iron Age.
That will be us then. Come, tell them what you know about the Iron Age. Well, once people knew the value of metal, they had knowledge that would change the life completely. And then they discovered iron ore. Iron ore had been there all the time. In fact, it was much closer to surface than tin and copper.
So it was easy to come by, much stronger than bronze and easier to produce.
Exactly. The men who had the skill of forging the iron were very important members of the community. Now we need to use our imagination and picture life in the Iron Age settlement.
I've got a good workshop here in the village with no red hot fire. I can forge metals into
Thank you for listening.
Merry Christmas, my Molly Cowben.
Good evening. Welcome to a new series of Into the Great Unknown, where we meet famous people who've been where no man's gone before. Dun 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 dun.
Oh boy, have you got a show for you tonight?
Tell him who's on the show, Mick.
Neil,
Tell him who's on the show, Mick.
Armstrong.
I'm from too. Tell him who's on the show, Mick.
Go up, you idiot. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few minutes, we'll be meeting Neil Armstrong. Yes, Neil Armstrong, the man in 1969 who left footprints on the moon.
But before that, to get us into our lunar mood, please welcome our house band for tonight, the Blue Mooners.
Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog loved to see such fun, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow saw the man in the moon. But did he see the little dog laugh, and the dish dashing off with a spoon? Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, they danced to the beat of the tune. The dog slipped aside as the dish and his bride were chased by the man in the moon. Oh yeah, were chased by the man in the moon.
Thank you, Blue Mooners.
And now let's meet our special guest for tonight, the three astronauts, all born in 1930, whose destiny was to fly to the moon.
Please welcome Neil Armstrong,
Buzz Aldrin,
and Michael Collins.
so to our lucky interviewers tonight, Q&A.
It's an honour to meet you all today. But before we hear your amazing story, let's roll the film of how it all began in 1930. This is our baby, Edwin Eugene Aldrin. We've named him after his daddy, haven't we, dear?
That's right, Edwin Aldrin Jr.
Little did they know he would have to change his name to Buzz because his little sister couldn't say brother and kept calling him Buzzer.
I'm Colonel Collins, and this is my brand new boy, Michael. He was born in Italy while I was there, serving for my country in the military service. launching out to space. This is baby Neil Armstrong. Wave to the camera, Neil. One day, little man, you go to college if you work hard. And one day soon, I'm going to take you to your first air show. You'd like that, wouldn't you? His daddy's mad about aeroplanes, so I'm not sure we'll ever be able to take on flying lessons.
Little did they know. So did you have flying lessons, Neil? Dad did take me to dozens of air shows almost as soon as I could walk. And I actually got my pilot's license when I was 16 before I even learned to drive a car.
What happened next?
Well, as Mum predicted in the film you just saw, I went to college and joined the Navy and became a test pilot for the Fleet Aircraft Service.
So when were you selected by NASA?
In 1962, that's when I started training with these two.
We were going to be astronauts.
I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna sail in space, piloting my rocket ship, my oxygen in place. My rocket will fizz, flash, rum and roar, with rush, sizzle and soar, rolling, rocking, rushing high, zooming, zooming into the sky. I'm gonna be an astronaut, eating my freeze-dried food, yuck! Zooming to the moon and back, just like a spaceman should. My rocket will fizz, dash, rum and roar, with rush, sizzle and soar, rolling, rocking, rushing high, zooming, zooming into the sky. Fizz, flash, rum and roar, with rush, sizzle and soar, rolling, rocking, rushing high, zooming, zooming into the sky.
The moon is the Earth's satellite, the fifth largest moon in the solar system. The moon is nearly 250,000 miles from Earth. The moon orbits the Earth every 27.3 days. The moon has a very low gravity compared to Earth. This gravity helps to make the tides and season motions twice a day. We see different phases of the moon as it rotates on its axis round the Earth. The moon is not a source of light, it reflects light. This fascination led to the Great Space Race. During the 1950s and 1960s, scientists and astronauts from the United States of America and from Russia, then called the USSR, led the way. Each country developed the technology to explore space, but we didn't share our knowledge. We were rivals. Who would be the first to get there?
The space race has begun!
Which brings us neatly into our regular quiz shop. This week, our contestants must answer questions about the Great Space Race. Let's meet our two teams. My team is Team Cosmo, with their Russian cosmonaut. And my team is Team Astro, with their American astronaut. Two teams will start the race over there on the launch pad. We will be over here on the moon. Are you ready, Quizmaster?
I'm ready. Question 1. Who launched the first satellite called Sputnik?
Russia!
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 2. What was the name of the dog that went into space in Sputnik 2?
Lucas.
Incorrect.
Laker.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon. one step towards the moon.
Question 4. Which US president promised there would be an American moon landing before 1970?
John F. Kennedy.
Correct.
Astronauts take one step towards the moon.
Question 5. Who's Valentina Tereshkova?
The first woman in space.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Question 6. What was the name of the US robot spaceship sent to the moon in 1966?
Surveyor 1.
Correct.
Cosmonaut, take one step towards the moon.
Apollo 10 was sent by the USA to find a suitable landing site on the Sea of what?
Serenity.
Incorrect.
Tranquility.
Correct.
Astronauts take one step towards the moon.
Question 7. Question 8. The final question is worth 2 steps, so now it's anybody's race. Apollo 11 landed safely on the moon. What was the date?
20th of July 1969.
Correct.
Astronauts come land on the moon.
Team Astra for the USA won the race to the moon, just as they did in 1969.
Let's go back to that danger light in the Kennedy Space Center. Roll the film.
Talk us through what's happening here, guys.
Neil Armstrong, commander of the Apollo 11 mission, and his fellow crew members are strapped in the command module Columbia at the head of Saturn V.
Below them, the lunar landing module Eagle is in place.
Saturn's great engines are primed ready for takeoff.
The countdown begins!
On 20th July 1969, Columbia, the command module, was orbiting the moon. All the astronauts each had a job to do.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin called into the positions in Eagle.
Michael Collins was named to pilot Columbia.
Tell us what you remember, Michael.
I was the command module pilot. My job was to stay in Columbia while the others would pick up an Eagle. The lunar module, there I was, on my own, orbiting the moon, and hoping they will be able to get back to me.
What about you, Buzz?
I was a lunar module pilot in charge of the automatic controls of Eagle. Neil was behind me. Suddenly all of the automatic controls started to go wild. Warning lights flashed and alarms were going off. We were heading for the right landing area, the Sea of Tranquility, but it didn't look like a right landing area to land on after all. It was rough and rocky.
Tell us what you did about it, Neil.
Well, as mission commander, I made a decision that we couldn't land there, so I shut down the automatic controls and flew Eagle myself, looking for safer ground. I chose my spot where we landed. Then I looked at the fuel gauge, and there was only 30 seconds of fuel left. Well, that was close. Yeah, I know it's forward mission control in Houston to say the Eagle has landed.
That must have been good to hear. It was. We held our breath so long we were blue. Then everyone went mad with excitement. What happened next, Buzz?
Neil was to do the first moonwalk. If it went okay, I was to follow him.
How did you feel when you opened that door, Neil?
Unbelievable. I opened the door and looked around. Everything was still, grey and quiet. I stepped out into the unknown where there was hardly any gravity.
And?
I said to the world, that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind.
We splashed down the Pacific Ocean in 24 kilometres away from the recovery ship.
Our mission had just taken 8 days, 3 hours, 18 minutes and 18 seconds. Such a short time for such a long journey.
Well, that's all we've got time for. Let's hear it for our space heroes, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins.
Around 500 years before Armstrong made his voyage into the unexplored space, Christopher Columbus made a similar voyage into the unexplored ocean.
Armstrong walked on the moon and Columbus walked on a new continent.
Columbus sailed the ocean, they chose new places to
dun 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 dun.
It wasn't fun when you did it the first time.
I thought it was. Good night.
Well, I think we have had the most amazing afternoon. It's been absolutely wonderful. We started with the kindergarten, and how good were you, telling us all about Jesus' birth. Then we dived under the sea with all those pirates and mermaids with the infants, looking and sounding brilliant. Then we had an amazing archaeology lesson, didn't we, with all the facts we learned about the history, and then zooming off into space. I mean, we've just about covered all aspects, I think, today. So, well done. Every single one of you, you have been superb on that stage. We've all been really wowed by you. There was room on the wow walls, you'd all be there. I think we should have a picture of you all. So I think a big clap for each and every one of you. Just going to do it all again 3 times next week for all the mums and dads and grandparents, and I'm sure you'll be brilliant. Okay.